Ubau ubar uboy, kio vi fartas, oihe arye uye. I just asked you how you are in ubbi-dubbi, Esperanto, and Pig Lion. Ubbi-dubbi comes from English and was popularized by the children's TV show Zoom. Esperanto was created in 1887 by Dr. L.L. Zamenhof. It's mostly spoken as a second language and is very popular in South America. Pig Lion also comes from English, but it's sort of lost its popularity. Do you consider these languages? You're probably thinking no. Well, all of these languages are really just language games. So what makes something a real language? Today, Google defines language as a system of communication used by a particular community or country. Well, what about American Sign Language? Is it a real language? If we don't consider American Sign Language a real language, then that means we don't believe the deaf community is a real population. Let me explain what I mean. What defines a language as legitimate is that it accompanies a culture and is assigned to people in a community. In order to have a real language, you must have culture. Some people believe sign language isn't a real language because it has no culture. This is completely wrong. I know this because of my own family. My grandmother had 3 kids, my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. There was no history of deafness in our family, so when my aunt was born deaf, it was a mystery. Growing up, I did not only learn sign language, but I learned about the deaf culture. According to Patton, culture in general is defined as people sharing of language, values, traditions, norms, and identity. To prove that sign language has a distinct culture of its own, it has its own rules and practices. Some of these are that you should always try to sign no matter what. It is also said that deaf people are excluded or outsiders of the hearing world. This isn't always true. My family is part of both the deaf and hearing community. They also have their own jokes. Some of the jokes are only funny when signed, and others can be making fun of their deafness. For example, a deaf man and his wife were staying at a hotel. The man was in the parking lot and forgot which room his wife was in. He decided to honk the horn. He honked the horn and all the lights turned on except for one. He said, "Bingo, that's our room." All of these things are examples of deaf culture. So why is this even a debate? Culture equals language. In order to have a real language, you must have culture. Clearly, sign language is a real language because it has so much culture. When my aunt was younger, her parents would give her hearing aids. She got frustrated that people thought there was something wrong with her and would flush them down the toilet. She learned to speak by putting her hand in between my grandmother's throat and chin, feeling the vibrations of her voice. She did not learn sign language until she was 13 years old because doctors thought this was the best thing to do. A cochlear implant is a medical device that is surgically implanted into a deaf person's head to help them hear. The movie, The Sound and the Fury, is about a family with 2 deaf children. The children are eligible for cochlear implants, but the family is hesitant. They believe that if the kids get the implants, they'll have no relationship with the deaf community. They also believe that if they don't get the cochlear implants, they'll have no relationship with their family because they are hearing. My aunt and cousins who are deaf do not want cochlear implants because they are proud of their deafness. Getting a cochlear implant to my aunt means that something is wrong with her that she needs surgery to fix. She feels she is perfect the way she is and doesn't need to be fixed. The pathological or medical view of deafness focuses on correcting deafness so deaf people can look or be as normal as possible, implying that hearing people are normal. But who's to say what's normal and what's not? No one is really normal. The cultural view of deafness is that deafness is okay, and you should embrace it instead of focusing on the disability aspect. You should be proud of your deafness. This is known as deaf pride. Sign language is real, the deaf community is real, and deaf culture is real. Being deaf should not be considered a disability and won't be if you don't let it. My cousin Bailey, who is 10, is just like me when I was 10. Although she is very like me, she's also very different. She scored an amazing score on her FCAT, so she goes to hearing school with an interpreter. She reads at the same level I do today and is a very talented writer and artist. Clearly, being deaf to her is not a disability, but an advantage. I am proud to be involved in both communities and wouldn't change my family. Thank you.